Steve. Today we're going to be reviewing, installing the Lightning Dark H11 fog lights for your, I have a 2013 Mustang, so whatever you have, I don't know. It is a beautiful 40-degree day in Indy, and I'm doing this all without fancy camera equipment, so we'll see how well it goes. This is my first video. I'm sure my 18-year-old, when he watches this, will make fun of something. Oh, and I'm sure I'll put it in the title, but this is for Mustang GT California Special or the V6 Premium with the lower valance fog lights. So if you have a regular GT with the fog lights in the grill, these bulbs may not be the same. I bought these on Amazon, so if you need any of these numbers, go ahead and pause it right here. So I watched a bunch of reviews before I bought these, and Lightning Dark kept coming up as one of the top, at least as far as LED bulbs go, one of the top brands. I watched a guy that reviewed several different Amazon purchases and installed all of them in his car and took different videos and pictures with the different bulbs, and his recommendation was to go with Lightning Dark. So it was about $50 on Amazon, I think. What do we get? We get, it's the 6K color. So it's apparently really white with just a hint of blue. 10,000 LMS. I don't know if that's the same thing as lumens. Simple to install, as easy as any halogen bulb. And then 50,000 hours, which I don't know. I tried to do the math on that. I think, your lights aren't on all of the time. You're not in your car all of the time, maybe 15, 20 years, something like that. Which by that point, I won't have this car. So that's what you get. Let's open it up here. So along with these beautiful LED lights, you get some instructions and not an important, but a remind for adjustable LED headlight. So I'm guessing these are not made in the US, which is fine, no big deal. The LED lights seem pretty high quality. There are two lights on either side. More on that in a minute. And then you've got the cord that just plugs into a regular H11 harness. So these instructions look bad because I tried to read them in the bathtub, and that did not go well. I don't know why I tried to take a bath at 6'5", but I really didn't feel well the other day. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened. So the important piece here seems to be that you get the wire facing down in the 6 o'clock position, and that there's another instruction here I'll get to in a bit about which way the LEDs have to face, and that's the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position. And it says, if the beam pattern is not the best, please slightly rotate the headlight for adjustment. I don't think I'm going to know what that is, or probably even care. I'm just going to try to get the lights in the 3 and 9 o'clock position, which would be like this, right? And in order to put them in, I'll just show you in the instructions. Oh, also there's a 2-year warranty on these. Apparently you just cut the cord in half and send them a picture of that cut cord along with the barcode. And then I take it they send you a new one right away. So that's kind of nice. I don't know what would keep me from splicing that wire back together, but hey, I guess that's how they do it. So I was excited to see such detailed instructions, but then I got to reading them and I was a little disappointed. Apparently there's something you can rotate. I think that's what step 1 is saying, remove the socket. I'm not too worried about it. I watched a couple other videos of people installing these. They didn't loosen anything. I have seen in the comments that there is something you can adjust after you install the light, but not too concerned about that. I feel like I could easily, the way these mount with the 3 tabs, I feel like I could easily just take it out of the assembly and rotate it a little bit. So I tried to turn these a little bit. I tried to turn different parts, and I was just afraid. I mean, they were $50, so just a little bit worried I might break something, so I stopped. Okay, so this is where it talks about getting them in the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position down here in the lower right. And it also says rotate them 45 degrees clockwise, which my math is not the best. I had to look that up. That's about 1/8 of a turn. So that makes sense, looking at how those tabs fit into the housing. Just install it slightly cocked, I think. So maybe install it like this with the, I don't know if you can see the tabs there or not, but then give it a turn once it's installed, so that these tabs lock in place. I have installed halogen lights before, so very familiar with that. So I think that's about it. I did fail to mention that these are CAN bus compatible. So if you have a fancy car, they would work as well. Although I did see something about some cars may require something additional to prevent the lights from flickering. So let's go out in the cold and get them installed. Don't forget to do this too. Very important. Got to make sure the fam gets an appearance here. Oh, sorry, Sam, Seth, there's a glare. I apologize. All right, obnoxious cold start incoming. Neighbors, I am so sorry. But it is like 10 in the morning, so. Oh, sorry. So this is her. We've got her halfway in here because it's raining out there and I need a little bit more room. A good jack and jack stands, people, okay? Don't lose your life over cool fog lights. Oh, I just remembered, if you're doing this on a Mustang, you may have a cover down here underneath the radiator. I happened to run over something last year and it cracked it, so I just removed it so it wouldn't drag. I'd like to find one, but they're ridiculous, $200 for a piece of plastic, so you may have to remove that. If I remember, there's some screws like right here, and then I'm not sure where it screws in the back, but yeah, be prepared. You may have to take a panel off there. This is what we're looking at. So this is your halogen fog light. I believe we can probably just rotate this. Alright, so I just realized that right next to the light there's a peg right there. So I can't rotate the assembly without taking these clips off. And I'll show you the clips I'm talking about. Right here on the side, it's hard to see, not these top ones. They're these little black clips. I think we're going to have to pull those back a little bit. Careful you don't snap them. So that's exactly what I did, guys. I pulled these back a little bit. Be careful, be gentle, work at them. Just pull them back a little bit and try to pull it off, and then pull the other side back a little bit and try to pull it off. I've snapped so many of these in the past, and it's a pain. You have to splice in a new harness, so be careful there. Alright, so now we're going to try this rotate thing again. Hey, now it rotates. And there's our old halogen bulb. That ugly yellow bulb. Alright, so you can see now, if you can see, I can't get a good angle on it, but if you can see the hole we're going into there's well, it's oriented like this. Let me just show you this way. So of the 3 tabs there in this black region, 2 of those kind of like Mickey Mouse ears. It has to be pointed pretty much this way with the space in the middle between them. So I didn't do a test run of this, but I think if I hold it like this, then by the time I rotate it, the cord's going to be at the bottom like it's supposed to, and this is going to be facing the 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock position. So sorry, hard to film and do. I'm really not finding an angle where my big hand is not in the way, but let me see here. Feels like it's in. Rotate, and hey, yeah, it stopped. And the cord is in the 6 o'clock position. So that would mean that the LEDs are in the 3 and 9 o'clock. So now we'll just replug our cord here. So I just noticed that the stock, what comes from the factory, has a line right here for a plastic piece to go in so that you get it oriented right. And the new, female plug does not have any sort of bar in there. So I think that's okay. I saw a couple of videos where the people said if it didn't work, you just had to switch it around. So hopefully I don't hurt anything. Here goes. All right, so I got that plugged in. We'll go up top, see if it's working. If so, I'll come down here and probably do something with some wire ties. This, all this extra room now worries me a little bit. All right, guys, wire ties or cable ties, something every DIYer should have on hand all the time. It's kind of difficult touching this with the camera on. So I found this little hole in the assembly up here in the assembly of the fog light, and I'm just looping that through there, and then I'm going to put it through the piece of this clip that will come unclipped when you take the light out, so that someone won't be cursing me later because they have to go find some snips to cut the cable tie off. And so that if I change my mind and go back to my halogens, it'll be easy. But that'll draw this up out of the way. I'll get a shot of that. And, I noticed that these wires that go to, looks like the horn, are pretty low already. So maybe I'm being a little too particular here, but I'm going to tie them up. All right, there we go. Nothing crazy tight. If you need to get in here and unclip it, it's loose enough to spin it around and unclip that side. But it gets it up out of the way, not hanging nearly as low. And be careful when you're doing this. This is a fan; it needs it to cool off, so you don't want to obstruct that. And I have heard, people complain about those fans being on after the car is off. So I imagine that doesn't last very long. I'm not too worried about it. All right, so here we go. Here is our new light. I'm not actually in the middle. I should be. But this is our new LED versus the fog light that Ford put in there. I should mention that apparently fog lights are supposed to be yellow and, I don't know, maybe dim. I guess there's a price you pay for looking cool, right? I think if you want to be able to drive in fog, well, maybe keep your stock lights, but how often do you drive in fog versus I don't know, how often do you want to stare at these ugly, hideous yellow lights that don't match the headlights? I should probably have the headlights on just to show. Yeah, let's do that. So now we've got the headlights on, and as you can tell, the new light matches the headlights so much better. These are HID, and yeah, this LED you can tell is going to be super bright and match really well, versus the stock. These are the stock lights. This is what it looks like. Now I've tinted my headlights, which was another reason that I decided to upgrade my fog lights, because frankly, when I tinted my headlights, it did cut down on my visibility. So maybe not the brightest thing, but I like the look of it. Also, I should point out that I am hearing the sound of that fan, so if that's something that's going to bother you, something you should know about. I think you can hear it. That's up close. I'm not going to hear it over my exhaust, so I'm not worried about it. There she is. So that's all done, and I'm happy with the way it turned out. It looks really good. One tip, you may have to turn your ignition forward to have your fog lights come on. I knew that. I run mine all the time, but if you don't use yours a lot, you can't just turn on the parking lights or headlights without having the ignition forward. So it has to be forward for the fogs to come on, at least on the Mustang. I think that's it. If you like the video, click like. I may do more of these. Oh wait, one more thing. So on the passenger side, there was a windshield washer fluid reservoir that was in the way. It was a little tight, but I was able to wiggle it in there, and it actually has a little bit of clearance. So just know that if you bump up against that, it will actually thread into the bracket, and then once you get that, there is just a tad bit of clearance there. All right, have a good day.